Live from Lincoln, this is Channel 8 Eyewitness News at 10.
Huge volume of gas in the house to have this consequence to it, yes.
We have the latest on a neighborhood rocked by an explosion. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Tonight, officials are closer to learning what caused a Southeast Lincoln home to explode.
Yeah, they've ruled out a ruptured gas line on the outside, but there are still some questions. Channel 8 Eyewitness News reporter Nicole Cousins joins us live with tonight's top story. Nicole.
That's right, Rod and Megan. A much calmer scene here near 77th and Old Cheney than what we've seen in the past 30 or so hours. Now officials are left with determining where, in fact, inside this home that this blaze started. And that's why they were out here earlier tonight sifting through the rubble and through the homeowners' valuables to try to figure out where exactly this point of origin is. Tonight, fire officials sifting through the wreckage of this South Lincoln home, reduced to rubble following a massive explosion.
I've been doing this 32 years, and this is the worst gas explosion that I've ever seen.
Fire investigators now believe the blast near 77th and Old Cheney happened from within the home's walls, and it may be related to a gas leak. Now the question is, how did something of this magnitude happen, and where did it start?
Devastated this house, and so it's going to be kind of tough to reconstruct and put it back together.
Newly released video to Channel 8 showing the chaos unfolding as neighbors run to help. The blast spewing wreckage for blocks. Fire investigators saying gas inside the home could have been building up for hours before exploding. Witnesses recounting the moment when the homeowners, Jim and Jeanne Jossa, were thrown from the scene. They're now in critical, life-threatening condition at CHI St. Elizabeth.
The enormous amount of energy that was released during this incident and how widespread it is, as you look at the map and you can see how far reaching that damage is.
Lincoln police also taking part in the investigation as firearms and hundreds of rounds of ammunition were discharged from the heat. Fire officials thankful those guns weren't loaded.
If one of those rounds were chambered and it was given some direction, if you will, fired out of a gun, then we have a great concern for both bystanders and our responders.
But the question still remains how the gas buildup happened. Tonight, officials urging homeowners to have vigilance. If you smell natural gas or feel something's wrong inside your home, call for help immediately. And just another plea tonight to please stay away from this area, even though it looks a little dead behind me. There's a very active scene going on. Lincoln police say they'll have at least one person in around the area, patrolling the area all night to make sure that nothing else goes awry over here near 77th and Old Cheney. And again, in the morning, just please try to stay away from this area if you can, as officials still investigate, and also as a courtesy to these homeowners that live in this area. Reporting in South Lincoln, Nicole Cousins, Channel 8 Eyewitness News.
That's right. Let them do their job. Stay out of their way. All right, Nicole Cousins, thank you.
Neighborhood homes close to the blast also took a hard hit.
All of a sudden, I heard this huge blast. It was just, oh my God.
43 homes were affected by the blast yesterday. 17 of them actually have structural damage, and 4 were declared unlivable. Blocks away, neighbors had damage to their siding, windows, and garage doors.
So it's pretty incredible the amount of area that it covered.
But it's dented way in, so it can't be opened right now. So, and then we also had siding that was up on the top, on the peak up there.
Lincoln Fire and Rescue says the 2 life-threatening injuries are tragic, but the neighborhood is lucky with such an extensive blast that no one else was hurt. If you live in the area and have damage from the blast, LFR asks you to contact Building and Safety. And
Megan, as you mentioned, 43 homes were affected. With that many, insurance officials, many of them, were on site today to assess. Andy Van Horn with State Farm says every policy is different, but many coverage plans have something to cover this type of loss.
They're accidental in nature, they're not something that can be necessarily controlled. And so when you have this where it appears it just was an explosion, you would have, on typical policy, you'd have coverage.
Now, if your home is one of those affected by this tragedy, call your insurance provider to learn more about how you may be covered, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
Well, there are still some storms and rain working their way across the state, and some of it could be headed our way. So meteorologist Alden German joins us now with the details. Alden?
Hey, Megan, there is a good amount of rain across the state of Nebraska right now. Here is a live look at radar from the last hour. You can see this activity between Broken Bow and Grand Island, also around Columbus and Omaha, is moving to the northeast. So it's the activity west of Broken Bow and North Platte that's moving towards us, and that's the area we're going to have to watch. Now, here's a look at your rain chances throughout the night. Our best chances are actually going to be tomorrow after rush hour. I will have more coming up here in Maine weather.
Sounds good. Thank you, Alden.
Your property taxes may be going down a little. It's all part of an agreement between the mayor and the city council.
In short, we found common ground and made an agreement that benefits everyone in the community.
The city wants to lower the property tax rate in the biennium budget, and that's because extra money came in from new property valuations. Under the plan, the tax levy would go down. We'd also hire 6 more police officers and create a fund to help buy fire department equipment.
This is going to help us not only deal with the immediate problem, but hopefully get on a more productive track where we are back to where we were.
Now, the city council still needs to approve the plan, which could come in a couple of weeks. If passed, for example, the owner of a $150,000 home, we were talking about the property tax relief, they would save around $28 a year in taxes.
A quick reminder, if you're going to the Kendrick Lamar concert on Friday or the boxing match on Saturday at Pinnacle Bank Arena, large purses, bags, backpacks, or fanny packs will not be permitted inside. Only small clutch-sized purses or wallets will be okay. The total solar eclipse is less than a week away.
And the Nebraska Department of Transportation wants drivers to be ready for the heavy traffic flow. New at 10, Channel 8 Eyewitness News reporter Evan Hummel joins us now with more. Evan?
That's right, Rod. Megan, with nearly 400,000 people expected to visit Nebraska for the total solar eclipse, the Nebraska Department of Transportation is urging drivers to be extra cautious. Hundreds of thousands of people will be traveling Nebraska's highways during the weekend leading up to the total solar eclipse. That's why the Nebraska Department of Transportation is asking drivers to be patient and use their best driving practices.
We really also encourage a lot of the Nebraskans that are here. We're going to have a lot of visitors that are coming from out of state. So be positive, be friendly, but plan in advance and be patient. So get to where you're going far in advance, find your spot, and kind of camp out.
They've also put a ban on oversized loads to help with travel.
Oversized and overweight loads that would go through the state, we're restricting those. So those will not be allowed to travel through the state of Nebraska from sundown on the 18th, which is Friday, until sunrise on the 22nd. So that way we have plenty of space that's open as people come in and out for events that are going through the weekend.
Beatrice is expected to be one of the biggest attractions on the day of the eclipse. There, the phenomenon will last the longest in the state, at a little more than 2 minutes. Jason Dayton, who commutes from Beatrice to Lincoln for his job, says he's planning accordingly.
I'm not sure how bad the traffic is going to be, so I'll come into work that morning and I'll probably take off a little early. Just get down there and watch the eclipse from home.
The department says no construction will be done during the eclipse, but they do have some extra guidance on the roads.
Use good rules of the road and like I said, find a good safe location to be able to view it. Our staff is ready with barricades and barrels and signs to be able to help move people along with traffic.
They also urge drivers to use their manual headlights, not just automatic ones, during totality. Officials say it could be even bigger than a Husker game day in terms of traffic in the capital city. The department also says don't pull to the side of the interstate to view the eclipse. Instead, use an exit and find a place to stop.
All right, Evan Hummel, thank you so much. And we do want to remind all of our viewers, Channel 8 at ABC News will provide continuous coverage of the total solar eclipse. The coverage will begin with our midday show next Monday at 11 o'clock, followed by an ABC News special report.
And Channel 8 Eyewitness News will air live local coverage of the eclipse scheduled for 1:03 in the afternoon. We'll feature interviews with Bill Nye the Science Guy, plus reports from local schools and the Lincoln Salt Dogs game. Still to come on the news tonight, find out what Rod is cooking up in this week's Rod Job segments.
Look at
that. Live from Lincoln, this is Channel 8 Eyewitness News at 10 with Rod Fowler, Megan Conway, Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki, and Sports Director Brett Edwards. This is Channel 8 Eyewitness News at 10. Now, your local forecast from Lincoln's own weather experts.
Welcome back, everybody. Here are your weather headlines. There is rain on the way, as we mentioned in the first block of the show. That's going to be here late tonight and through the day tomorrow. The rain's going to be off and on tomorrow, and then we're going to return to typical August weather for this time of year. Here's a time lapse from today. You can see that we stay dry here in Lincoln. We had that nice mix of sun and clouds, but towards the end, you can see those storms that developed off to the north and west of Lincoln, and now there is nothing, well, still nothing here in Lincoln. Currently outside, it is 72 degrees. It's a little bit humid. It's also a little bit breezy. That northeast wind there at 16 miles an hour. That's because of those thunderstorms pushing some wind out towards us in our region. Highs from around the region today: 86 in Fremont, 83 in Columbus, 89 here in Lincoln. Beatrice was the warm spot at 93 degrees, and Beatrice is going to be a very popular town here in just a few days. Here is satellite and radar. You can see this wide area of rain and thunderstorms that we have in this state. We had several severe thunderstorm warnings earlier this evening around our 5 and 6 o'clock shows. Those have since passed, and now it's just consistent, steady rain throughout the area. And central Nebraska has already seen a lot of rain, so they're going to continue to add on to those totals. So here are stormcasts. You can see that it's picking up on that rain in the central portions of the state very nicely right now. So I do have some confidence in this model, and you can see that it's going to take its time getting here through the night, and it's actually going to fall apart a little bit as well. That said, I do still think we're going to see some rain activity here by the morning rush hour tomorrow, so your drive into work could be a little bit wet. Might want to take an umbrella with you just in case. The rain's going to be off and on throughout the day, as I said. The latest computer models that have just come in since the top of the newscast have a good portion of the rain being here between 10 and 1 p.m. So it looks like the middle portions of the day before 1 p.m. stand the best chance of seeing some widespread rain activity through the region. Either way, by the late afternoon hours and the early evening hours, most of that activity will move off. We might still have a stray shower in the area, but otherwise we'll be dry Wednesday night. Heading into Thursday, and Thursday is looking really, really nice with the return of the sun. So for tonight, 70 degrees. It's going to be mild and humid with those storms occurring later on in the night. If you're not already under a thunderstorm right now, areas just to the north of Lincoln are. Then 81 degrees for tomorrow with those mostly cloudy skies. As for rainfall, they'll range anywhere between 1/4 of an inch to 1 inch, or maybe a little bit more if you're in a location that has been seeing rain already through most of the evening. The winds will also shift from the southeast to the northwest by tomorrow night. Here is your 7-day forecast. You can see the rain moves out of here by Sunday, and we warm up on Thursday, looking fairly nice. Temperatures are going to return towards those averages. And actually, I was looking earlier at the climate data for our average high temperatures for Nebraska, and we have gone from well below average to now, as we enter the second half of the month, our highs are going to be above average. So one extreme to another. Yeah.
We were talking about this earlier. We're this far into August, no 90 or plus,
no
right?
Official 90-degree day yet.
I see you have your first 90 on eclipse day, so we'll see.
Maybe. We'll see.
Thanks, Alden. ABC Television is also bringing back American Idol, and Channel 8 KLKN TV is holding auditions for Lincoln's Idol on August 22nd at Blue Blood Brewery.
That's right. You can pre-register in person at Blue Blood until noon on Friday the 18th. Top vote getters will receive a front-of-the-line pass for the American Idol bus stop tour, to be held at the Lewis and Clark Landing in Omaha on August 29th.
For complete rules and eligibility, just go to our website, klkntv.com, and click on the contest button.
And coming up next on the news, find out what I'm up to next in Rod Jobs. What is that? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Let it do the work. Let it do all the work. Save us. All right, Rod, we have them all loaded. Let's get them over to the cookers. Good.
For Rod Jobs tonight, someone is in the kitchen cooking up a favorite for some.
That's right. I visit a Lincoln business near 48th and R that has products in Hy-Vee, Super Saver, Russ's, and Shields. Check it out. Rod Jobs is brought to you by Planet Fitness. This is a piece of jerky, and history will tell you this dates back to about 1550. A South American native tribe came up with it to preserve meat. Here we are about 500 years later. Granted, this is usually not someone's main meal, but it does make for a great snack. And there are so many different varieties. Today, we're at Smoking Gun Jerky. We're going to see how they do it. And of course, they're going to put me to work. Hey, look who's here. It's Ryan, the store manager. How are you?
Good. How you doing today, Ryan?
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us on Rod Jobs.
Oh, you bet. What are we going to be making today?
We're going to make garlic barbecue and wicked awesome.
Oh, my mouth is watering. How many different flavors do you have?
As you can see, we have 52 flavors right now.
Oh, my goodness. Let's get to work, okay?
All right.
All right.
I've always had trouble with these. I would not make a good surgeon. Whole.
What we're making today is garlic barbecue.
One of the first things we need to do is make some marinade for our top round. We have some minced garlic. Everything is carefully measured. We then add some barbecue sauce and then some Smoking Gun marinade and mix it well.
Now we're going to add the meat.
Add the meat. Let it soak in there good, right?
You bet. Get it in there, mix it around with your hands.
Oh, gosh. This is fun. To speed up the process, we put the meat in what they call the tumbler.
We use this to save us the time from marinating the meat for 24 hours. What it does is it sucks all the air out of here, drawing the marinade into the meat, and then it'll spin it for 20 minutes so we can continuously load our cookers.
We then use 7 trays to load 10 pounds of meat.
All right, Rod, we have them all loaded. Let's get them over to the cookers.
Let's do it. After 4.5 hours,
it's a little squeeze test.
We make sure all of the pieces are cooked thoroughly and then measure out 3 ounces for each package. Smoking Gun does it all, even making their own labels. We want it pretty straight. Watch this. It's going to suck the air out of it. It's going to seal the end. Let's put it on the shelf. Smoking Gun says beef jerky is their #1 seller, but they also have elk, bison, pork, turkey. And in their store near 48th and R, you can try samples. And they support other local businesses that make sauces and seasonings. Boy, this was a lot of fun. Ryan, my first time, how did I do?
You did great today.
Quick question. Do you have a quality control program here?
Well, actually, Rod, that's one of the perks of the job.
It's us.
It's us.
Well, let's try it. This is, again, wicked.
Wicked awesome.
That's just a little bit of kick to it, right?
Just enough.
Let's try it. Oh, that's good stuff.
It's my favorite.
Sold. Thanks again for having me. Best of luck to you.
Thank you very much, Rod.
They were nice enough to send back some samples to the newsroom. They were a huge hit.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Loved them.
You know, when they're busy, they can go through 600 pounds of meat a week. They also offer classes on how to make jerky. If you want to do it yourself, we have information about them, their website, a link to it, on ours, KLKNTV.com. Just click on the story. You'll see it there at the bottom.
Well, you mentioned those classes, but had you ever tried to make jerky before this?
I've tried it, and, you know, with big dehydrators, you know, 6 stack dehydrators, never turned out as well as theirs, but obviously they're the professionals. But I do want to thank Ryan and his family for having me. Good people, and again, they're located up there by Raising Cane's at 48th and R. They have just, well, as you heard, more than 50 different samples for you to try.
I think you did great.
Well, thanks.
Coming up next in sports, we preview the Creek Cardinals.
Plus, we go one-on-one with Nebraska's sophomore punter, Caleb Lightborn. You're watching Channel 8 Eyewitness News at 10.
Now, Channel 8 Eyewitness News, sports.
Caleb Lightborn was thrust into the starting punter role last year following the tragic death of Sam Foltz. With a year under his belt, Lightborn is ready to go this year. Ryan Hillman goes one-on-one with the sophomore punter.
Hey, Brett, I'm joined with punter Caleb Lightborn of the Huskers. Caleb, practice is underway. How's things going so far?
It's going well. It's definitely going well. I've seen a lot of improvements in everybody, and I've been working hard, and I've seen the results from my hard work, so I'm definitely excited.
Second year for you. What do you think the biggest difference will be this year for you?
I think that just consistency-wise, all around, I've just been making tremendous strides, and I'm very happy with the progress that I'm making, and I still see a lot of work that I can do to make myself even better.
What kind of off-season was it for you? I know you went to some kicking camps. Just what kind of things did you learn from those?
There's just a lot of very small specifics. There's some drills that I learned that definitely have helped me, and I think just going there, it's to get in some good work and become a better player. But another part is just developing relationships with all the different specialists all over the country. I mean, like I was hanging out with the Tennessee specialists when we were in Wisconsin. I mean, they're great guys too. I mean, we just all across the board, everybody around the country, we all have mutual respect for each other, and we care about each other a lot. And I think that's something special that not many other positions have.
What's the one thing that I think Nebraska can see from you that will be different from last year?
I think my poise is just a lot better. I think I'm just a lot more confident, and I'm a lot more calm just going into every single punt, and I'm just more comfortable. Me and my snapper have a lot better of a connection. We're going to show people a lot of good stuff this year.
Perfect. Thanks, Caleb. I appreciate it. Good luck this year.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ryan. Mick Stoltenberg, Deshaun Neal, and Keon Williams did not practice today. J.D. Spielman did practice. Dante Williams says DiCaprio Bootle is one of the top 3 cornerbacks. The Big Ten Network crew was at practice today, and Bob Diaco will coach from the press box during games. The Crete Cardinals take center stage tonight on our high school football previews. Reed Manstead enters his 3rd season as head coach. The Cardinals won just 3 games last year. Quarterback Rhett Harms graduated. It'll be another tough schedule for the boys in red.
The biggest thing we have to do is just play to our strengths, and that's kind of what I told the guys. You know, we're going to be starting, obviously, a new quarterback this year. We got 2 young men battling for that position, and it's like I told them, you know, the biggest thing is they do not have to win us ball games. You know, there was times last year where we kind of said, Rhett, we need you here. We have an opportunity to be a little bit more balanced across the board as far as getting the ball to some of our receivers and to our tailbacks, and that'll take pressure off those younger, less experienced quarterbacks.
Got a lot to build on from last year because we finished with a really good win down at Waverly, and I think that'll give us some momentum going into the season, and I think we have a lot to prove this year because we have a lot of young talent, but I think that talent will show, and we have guys with in-game experience, so I think we have a really good chance to be good this year if we give relentless effort and we are committed to the team.
Crete went 3-6 last year, missing out on the playoffs. The Cardinals returned 10 starters, and they will open the season next Friday night at Seward. Jordan Westerkamp has been waived by the Dolphins, and former Husker wrestler Tim Lambert is now a volunteer assistant coach at Nebraska. The Nebraska volleyball team has been picked to finish 2nd by the coaches in the Big Ten behind Penn State. Kelly Hunter and Michaela Fecky are on the All-Big Ten preseason team. The Huskers will hold their red-white scrimmage Saturday night at 7. Creighton Prep made it to the American Legion World Series Championship game tonight, but they lost to Henderson, Nevada by a score of 2-1. What a season for the Junior Jays. Royals and the Athletic top 1, 2 on, nobody out for Eric Hosmer. Here up to 2 RBI double to right, scoring Whit Merrifield and Lorenzo Kane. The Royals were up 3-0, but the A's have hit 3 homers. It's now 4-3 A's in the 4th inning at last check. Alex Gordon is 0 for 1. Salt Dogs on the road tonight. They fell at Cleburne 7-6.
You know, Brett, I know you're a big Jerky fan.
Huge.
You had a great sportscast. You deserve a treat, my friend.
Oh my gosh, this is the best night ever.
Look at that.
Yes, thank you. Don't tease me.
This is from.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
This is Applewood.
Applewood. I'm gonna enjoy it.
From Smoking Gun. So there you go.
Thanks, Rod.
All right, and we'll have a final check of the weather next.
Here's a look at radar for us right now. There's no rain in the immediate Lincoln area, but as you take a look across the rest of the state, you can see that there is a significant amount of rain, and it's that rain north of North Platte that will be headed our direction late overnight. And that's not the graphic I meant to show you. Here's the 10-day forecast. That's what I wanted to show you. 81 for tomorrow. Thursday is going to be dry, and then we're going to warm up and have some typical August weather.
All right. Thank you, Alden. And thank you all for joining us.
Did you eat all that jerky?
Oh, yeah.
Have a great night. See you tomorrow.